All right, so now what we'd like to do is we'd like to show you, or what I like to do is I would like to show you some techniques, basic techniques for starting your thread, threading your bobbin, applying thread to the hook, attaching tail material, some things about thread control too. So here we go. So I have my bobbin and I need to thread it. And so I'm going to find the end of my thread here. And they do make a tool called a bobbin threader. But what I do is I just kind of start my thread at the bottom of the bobbin and I pull it through, I suck it through like a straw. There it is, threaded. So you can buy a threading tool, or you can just kind of suck it through like that. Hooks. There are a lot of different types of hooks. Every fly has a different recipe. Everything from small hooks to big hooks, curved hooks, heavy hooks, light wired hooks, everything in between. I'm just going to use a basic size 12 dry fly hook for our purposes today. And so I've got one right here, and I'm going to put it in my vise, adjust the settings a little bit. And when I put the hook in the vise, I like to just attach the hook at the bottom of the curve of the vise. So the point is just sticking out a little bit like that. That's kind of how I like to do it. If I'm working with kids or teaching classes, sometimes I will hide the hook or the point back in a little bit further so that people don't poke their finger. But when I'm tying flies, I like mine to be out just a little bit like that, so the vise is barely catching the bottom of the curve of the hook, just like that. So now I'm going to show you how to start thread. So the bobbin is going to go in your dominant hand, and you want to close your hand around the thread like so the bobbin sticks up above your fingertips. This is called, I call it the tag, and you want to keep this tag tight. You don't want any slack in it. So what you do is you will hold the thread, the tag of the thread in your left hand and the bobbin in your dominant hand, and lay the thread on top of the hook with the bobbin on the outside away from you. And there aren't any absolutes in fly tying or rights and wrongs, but there are easier ways. And I think if you start with your thread on top of the hook, perpendicular to the hook, and your bobbin on the outside, and you make circles with the bobbin like this, make a few wraps, and then wrap back over the tag and those other couple wraps, and you just continue down the hook with a thread base. And the reason we put a thread base on is that a lot of times if you put materials on a bare metal hook, they'll slip and slide and move around. This thread base gives those materials a little bit of traction. And whenever I cut materials, I always hold straight up off of the hook and cut right on top. That keeps my scissors away from my working thread. We don't want to cut our working thread, so when you cut any type of scrap, hold straight up and cut on top of the hook, and then you're done. All right.